What's up, go-getters? Welcome to the Subscription Box Sprint course part number 2. So last week we talked about all you should know before getting started with your subscription box. And today we're going to be covering your box idea, your brilliant subscription box idea. And also we'll talk a little bit about naming the box. Okay guys, so this is a free subscription box training. For those of you who are just ending up on this video first, we have a whole series that we are doing for those who want to take the getting started steps for starting their subscription box journey. So you definitely want to start with video 1 in this playlist and in this series. So just to go over a few basics before we jump and dive into this training. If you haven't yet, guys, you want to be sure to, of course, subscribe to the channel, turn your notifications on so you won't miss anything. Also, at the end of this training, I have a free resource for you, okay? So it's very important that you stick around to the end. Also, to take advantage of the resource, you will need to join the free Telegram chat. So I'll put the link to that chat in the description box. So if you have like follow-up questions from the training, you want the planning, resources, worksheets, everything that goes along with the trainings, you will need to be inside of my private free Telegram community. So you'll want to click that link and join in on the discussion there. And don't forget to stick around to the end to see what free resource I am dropping for you this week. So today, guys, we are talking about a very, very crucial step in your subscription box journey, and that is planning your big, brilliant subscription box idea, as well as talking about some tips for naming your box idea. So the first thing that I want to go over with you is some people get into their subscription box. They jump into their business head first, and these are things that they don't really do the research for and they don't really think about. My box idea name was actually pretty brilliant, but I think to a certain degree it can be slightly misleading. And if I had did a little bit more research, I would have sort of recognized that maybe I should have tweaked the name a little bit, because my subscription box name is the Journal Junk Box. And the reason why I named it Journal Junk Box is because you get journaling supplies and also other junk as well. So you're a person who likes to journal, but you also enjoy that whole Ross, TJ Maxx, Marshalls type experience if you have those in your area. You also like picture frames, candles, oven mitts, tea towels, teacups. You like a lot of other stuff along with your journaling experience as well. So that was my thinking when I named it the Journal Junk Box. But there is a very, very passionate community, and this is how I really fell upon just an amazing idea. God don't make no mistakes. There is a huge passionate community of junk journalers. They call it junk journaling. So I don't have an example where I could show you guys, since I'm really, really heavy into it now after starting the business, but it's basically when you just take a lot of different elements like stickers, embellishments, all kinds of things, and ribbon, you know, all kinds of different types of paper and patterns, and you just sort of create different collages. It's more like art. So instead of writing, and some people write with their junk journals, but it's more of an expression of your own art on paper. So I think some people, when they come to subscribe to my box, they are expecting the junk journaling experience because it's called the Journal Junk Box, but they're not really going to quite get that experience because junk takes on a whole nother meaning when it comes to the box. So it was a clever idea, but at the same time, it can be slightly misleading. So people who are looking to get supplies for that specific journaling style are sometimes disappointed because they're getting a lot of other stuff that they may not be particularly interested in. So I tell that story only to help paint the picture of why it's important to select the correct name for your box. And I'm also going to go over why it's important to get the right niche, the right industry, and really do that foundation, build that strong foundation by doing that research, so that you will not build your house on shaky ground, okay, and come tumbling down as a business. So the first thing I want to talk about is brainstorming. Brainstorming your box idea is going to be one of the most crucial things that you can do in the early steps of your journey with this business. So these are some questions that I want to ask you today. Number one, what idea do you already have? What idea do you already have? So I know that some people say you can't follow your passions because oftentimes your passions don't pay well. And sometimes your own ideas may not be great for business because they may not be things that people want. But I also am a believer that you should definitely take your ideas seriously. Like I said, I had a hunch about this business that I started some years ago, like kind of like a hunch that I should start it. And I didn't follow that kind of hunch I had right away. But in following it, I have actually had some great success in following that little hunch I had that I should start it. So you don't always want to ignore those nudges that you get to start things. You want to pay attention to those ideas. So the first question is, what idea do you already have? And I have a resource that is going to go through all of these questions. You're going to be able to work through all these questions right on a sort of like a worksheet, a spreadsheet type thing, so that when you get to the end of the resource, you will have all of these questions worked out and you'll know what you want to do. The second question in the brainstorming part of this training is, what do you enjoy doing? What do you enjoy doing, and what service do you already enjoy providing? So if there's something that you already do that you really enjoy, it could be a hobby and you're really passionate about that hobby, most likely there are other people who are also super passionate about that hobby. And what is something that a service that you already enjoy providing? So some of you guys watching this training, you already have a business and you're just looking to add a box to your business that you already have established. Before I launched my box, I already had a business, so I already had a customer base that enjoyed stationery and journaling materials. So I just added my box onto a customer base that I already had. So the perfect way to test your idea is when you already have a business, and that won't be everybody, but if you do already have a business and your customers are very passionate about your product and you're thinking about turning this product into a subscription product, perfectly fine. You may even be your product or your service may even be developing or delivering digital templates. One of the newest subscriptions that we have for Journal Junk Box is actually a digital subscription. So we're actually testing that idea as well, and it's going well so far. So it may even not be a physical product delivered. It may be a digital product that is delivered. But what is the service that you are already providing, or what is a hobby or something that you're doing that you already enjoy doing? You want to write that down. The next one is, what problem do you wish to solve? What problem do you wish to solve? I heard it said one time, I'm not sure who said it or where I got it from, but if you are busy solving problems, you will never have a problem earning money for solving those problems. So what problem will your business solve? Or if you are a business owner already, what problem is your business currently solving? So that's the brainstorming section. So we're going to move over to what makes a successful box idea. We may have already talked about that last week, but we're going to discuss it again. Number one, you want it to be something that people cannot live without. This is something that people need. And needs are definitely relative. You have some needs that everybody has, like we need water, we need air, all of those things. But then you have some needs that are very relative. It just depends on the group of people. For my group of people, journaling and expressing themselves on paper is their life, is their air. It's something that they have to do on a daily basis. Note-taking is something that they have to do on a daily basis. I don't know what I would do without a pen and paper to be able to just like write things down. I don't know what I would do without being able to journal. So for me, it is a life necessity. So you want to make sure that your box idea is something that people need. And it may not just be people in general, but it may be people in your particular niche or in your particular industry. Those people value that thing. It's life and death for those people. So keep that in mind. Number two is it needs to be something that makes life more convenient for people. So somebody who isn't passionate about my particular industry may say, I had one person to look at my box one time. It's so funny. I purchased their course and they took a look at my website. They were giving away calls to their members for free. And they got on with me and they just were like, I don't get your idea. Who would want this? Who would want this paper? Who would want these books? Like, who would want to buy this? And I was like, well, we have, a few hundred subscribers. So somebody wants this, so there is a whole passionate audience. So somebody who isn't in your industry might look into your industry and say, who cares about that? Who wants that? But if there is evidence that there is, and we're going to go over that, if there is evidence that there is an audience of buyers for your product, you want to make sure that this is a product that makes that audience's life more convenient for them. So in my particular industry, these ladies, they are going to have to buy writing materials anyway. They're going to have to buy journals and notebooks anyway. This is something that they're going to be buying on a monthly basis anyway, because this is something that they're into. They're going to be in Ross picking up a picture frame or candle or dish towels or whatever I put in the box along with the journaling supplies anyway, because this is the type of demographic that I'm servicing, right? So me providing that stuff for them where they don't have to go and shop if they don't want to, or they don't have to pick up that additional notebook if they don't want to, giving them that to their doorstep every month makes life more convenient for them, for that group of people. So you have to make sure that your product is making life more convenient for your customer, your potential customer. Number 3, is your idea something scalable? So I want you to think about your idea on a larger scale. And I want you to think about, don't just think about the small box business that you're just starting, you haven't started yet. I want you to think long term. In the long haul, is this an idea that I could scale? Is this something that I could grow? Is this something that I could hire people to help me with? Is this going to be an easy product to scale at a larger scale? If the answer is no, and your goal is to grow larger, then that might not be the best idea. Everybody's goals are different. Your goal might be to only have a couple hundred people. You may have a very, very high price, product, and people see the value in paying that. So you may not be looking to do thousands of subscribers. You may just be looking to do a few hundred. And so what your business at scale looks like for you and what might be profitable for you according to your goals is going to look different for me or somebody else. So you definitely want to consider your own goals, not mine, not anyone else's, when you are determining whether or not your idea is scalable. So let's go to the next section of the training. Things to consider. These are some things that I would really like you to consider when you are planning this part of your business. So number 1, one of the most common reasons that people actually leave, they hit the road, okay? They will cancel their subscriptions is because of too much stuff. And I totally understand that, because I am a person, I don't like a lot of stuff, okay? My version of cleaning up looks like throwing stuff away, okay? That's the type of person I am. I don't like to accumulate a lot of junk, stuff that we are not using. I don't feel like we need a lot of extras of things. I am quick to throw things in the trash. So some of your subscribers are the same way. You start to giving them too much stuff. You start to giving their kids too much stuff. Whoever your subscription is for, people after a while naturally get tired of accumulating the things in your box. And that's something that I did not think about earlier on, which is why I've had to go back and create smaller versions of my subscription and things that will not accumulate for people. You want to keep that in mind when you are planning your box, that people get really tired of getting a lot of stuff. So less is more. I would say less quality items in a box, or even a digital subscription if you have a really good idea for that people need. Let's just say, baking. You're really, really good at baking, and you want to target people or people and their children who are in love with baking, and you want to provide them different recipes for different holidays. So it's like a baking digital club where you're literally mapping out everything, and they find value in that. Like, I don't know if people would find value in that, but hey, you never know, right? So maybe you're teaching them how to do different cake designs and things like that, and the materials that they need, to go with those designs. So that could definitely be a thing. So that's number 1. Number 2 is, another common reason is pricing being too high. And don't allow this to price your box too cheap. We're going to be talking about that in the coming weeks, about how it's so important to set your box budget and know how much you need to price your box for and all the expenses. We're going to be talking about all of that. So don't allow what I'm saying right now to make you just choose the cheapest price ever. You don't want to do that and lose money. But what I'm saying is that if your box is overpriced, when someone's looking over their monthly expenses, your box is most likely going to be one of the first things to cancel. So when we're talking about reoccurring payments, you want to make sure that your box price is comparable to what they're purchasing anyway, so that they can justify the expense. You just want to make sure that whatever they're spending for your product is able to be justified, in the minds of your customers. So when they're looking to cancel their subscriptions, you aren't the first on the list to go. That's just something to think about. And another thing, your product and your packaging should be easy to source. Okay, this should be, easy to find. So whatever, your subscription box idea is, think about how hard or how easy it is to get that product, to get your hands on that product. If your product can only be made overseas and you're going to have to wait months to get it, is that going to work for how you want to do your subscription box? So this is something that you want to think about. Is your idea easy to pack? This goes back to scalability. So if it's really, really hard to pack every month, do you have the help? Do you have the space? How quickly can you get this done? Is this really going to take a big chunk out of your life to pack this up? All these things are things you want to think about right from the beginning so you can make the right decision. Also, definitely consider, which kind of piggybacks off of what I just said, consider labor and consider overhead for your product. Consider that at the beginning, okay? What is your product being packaged look like at scale? What is overhead or hiring people, labor costs? What does all that look like at scale? You want to get a good picture of the future right now. You want to take a snapshot of the future. You want to travel to the future and take a snapshot to make sure that everything is aligning. Because sometimes we plan for now in business and we're not looking into the future. And then as we start to grow, we find that, this isn't really scalable. This isn't really doable. This isn't something that I can do at scale. So think about that. So our next portion, we're going to talk about the research. So research is going to be so important. I think I shared before, I did not do a lot of research when I started my business. Okay. And I'm going to be honest with you. I feel like doing research up front really helps you to avoid some of the costly mistakes that you can make down the line because you just really don't know your audience. When I first started, I had the wrong idea of who my audience was. And I had to learn my audience, right? And thank goodness I pay attention because I had to learn who my audience actually was. And I had to start making little changes to my box to be a better fit for my audience. Because I think a lot of times we start a business, we give people what we think they would want. But if you really don't do that research, that's what you're doing. You're guessing. You're throwing a lot of paint on the wall. You really don't know what people want and need. So you want to, if you don't have, especially if you don't have customers already, to do that social listening and ask questions and take polls, you're going to want to do that research. Either way, do the research. So here are some things that you can do to research your industry. You want to find, once you go through all these other sections, and like I said, guys, at the end, I'm going to show you a spreadsheet that goes along with this training. It has worksheets inside of it so that you can go through each section of this training and kind of be asking yourself different questions and brainstorming as you go. One of the first things that you want to do is you want to go out and you want to follow your competitor's website. I would say pick about 2 to 3 competitors, other people out there that have obvious success in your industry. Go and follow them on social media. You can search their social media accounts for any evidence of what customers are responding most to, what products that they like, all those kinds of things. You want to go and you want to do your research on those social media accounts, then go to their websites. You want to research their websites thoroughly, see what kind of products they're offering. What does their fact section look like? What are they, what are they talking about? Join their newsletter. See what they're talking about on the newsletter. See what that's looking like. What kind of sales are they running? What kind of products are they pushing to the forefront all the time? Pay attention and analyze all of that because your competitors equals free data. Okay, it's free data. They've already done it. They've already succeeded. They already have the roadmap. And if you're intelligent enough to go and study them, that data can also be beneficial to you. So their success can be your success. You just have to be willing to study what it is that they've done so far. Of course, you have Google Trends. Google has a lot of different tools for businesses. Definitely check that out where you can see what's trending. Is your industry trending? What are there certain months during the year that more people are looking for your product? You may have some success there, you may not, but now we have the rise of ChatGPT where you can pretty much do like the Bing plugin or a web browser plugin, and you can pretty much ask ChatGPT any question and it can help you to analyze your industry and answer those questions. So definitely utilize that. And I do have some other videos on this channel about how I like to work along with ChatGPT in my day-to-day life and business. So if you don't know how to use it or get started, definitely check out those videos as well. Statistics. My industry doesn't have a lot of statistics. I'm gonna be honest, they're just not out there like that. But your industry might have statistics. So you just want to get out there and see how many people purchase your product a year or whatever. You want to research those statistics. Facebook Ads Manager is a great place to do research because you can see whether or not there are little pockets inside of your industry that are being targeted in Facebook ads. So if there are definitely categories inside your Facebook Ads Manager or your Meta Ads Manager, if you see those in there, that's great. That's a great indication that this is a thing, right? Facebook groups is another thing, or Meta groups is another thing. If you go out there and you search and there are groups, passionate pockets of people out there for your thing, then you most likely are on the right track. And then I have order boxes of your competitors. This is something that I do to this day. I order their boxes. I utilize them. If they have journaling supplies, I actually sit and open the packs and actually have a journaling session using their materials. I like to feel and see for myself, what are the pros and cons of that particular subscription? What would I like to repeat in my own way? And what would I also like to eliminate to make sure that I'm not making this mistake? So your competitors can teach you a lot. Never shut your eyes or blind yourself to what your competitors are doing. That's another mistake that I've done in the past. I've had way too much tunnel vision to the point that I never look at my competitors. I think you should have a healthy view of what your competitors are doing so that you can learn from them, because that is a great source of information and research, knowing what they're doing. So now that we've gone over that, the last section that we're going to talk about is naming your box. Once you have nailed your box idea, now it's time to come up with a name for your box. So I'm just going to give you a couple of tips for doing that. And I did share my mistake earlier on in this training video that I made with naming my business. So number one, you can use name generators or ChatGPT. There are a lot of free name generators online, but of course you have ChatGPT that you can have a whole discussion with, and you can actually talk back and forth with ChatGPT to come up with name ideas for your business. A lot of the programs and spreadsheets and all kinds of things I've created in my business since I've started using ChatGPT this year. ChatGPT has helped me to come up and brainstorm so many names of things. Even my box themes every month, ChatGPT helps me to come up with names for those themes. So it is such a helpful tool. Jump on it. That way you don't have to fry your brain trying to figure everything out on your own. Now you have an AI assistant that can assist you with figuring this information out. So make sure that your name is short and catchy, and make sure that it actually describes what it is that you are selling. Some people's name of their companies are way out there, and when you read the name, you have no idea what that means, and you have no idea how it relates to the product. Don't let that be you. When someone hears your name, you want them to know exactly what you're talking about, and that name to excite them, right? And to spark curiosity, like, oh, this sounds like something, this sounds like me. Let me go and see what this company is all about. That's what you want. And lastly, you want to search for your name on the internet. Okay, you can do a search, or you can use ChatGPT to help you to search to see if other companies are already using that name. If that is a huge company that is already using that name, you just may not want to use that. Also, search for domain availability. You can go to GoDaddy or Namecheap or any other domain provider and search to see if those domains for your business are available, because you are going to need to have a website and you're going to need to get that domain. And lastly, you want to check the trademark office and do a trademark search to make sure that no one's business has already trademarked your name, because it is super disappointing to be in business and receive a letter one day after you've grown your business and you receive a letter that says you need to cease and desist using this name immediately, or we are going to take legal actions against you. You do not want something like that happening to you. I've actually had to have letters like that sent out to people who are using my current name, and I know that it probably did not feel good to that business owner, but so that don't let that be you. Is basically what I'm saying. So lastly, let me show you guys, I just want to show you guys what the spreadsheet is looking like. So when you join the Telegram chat, you'll be able to access a link to this spreadsheet. This is the Box Vision Blueprint Planner. This is going to help you to plan out your spreadsheet. The first tab here is going to give you instructions. This tab here is going to allow you to brainstorm your box, just as I mentioned it in the training, your idea description, your personal interest. Are you interested in this idea? The service or problem addressed. You're going to do that, and then you have notes section. So then we have the idea evaluation worksheet. Your idea name. Does your customer need this? What is the convenience factor, the scalability, churn considerations, sourcing difficulty, packaging difficulty as well, overhead and labor. So all the things we talked about is going to be asking you all of those questions for your different ideas. Then we have your market research worksheet, where you're going to be able to list out your competitors, their websites and social media, what is inside of their box, what are their pricing points, USPs, their customer base, Google trend analysis, and your notes section. And then lastly, we have our box naming worksheet. This is going to allow you to come up with potential names. How catchy is it? You can rate that information. Is it relevant to the product? Is the domain available? Did you check the trademark? Are there any similar company names? And what is your final decision? So when you walk away from this spreadsheet, guys, you are going to have all of the information that you need to be able to name your box and come up with your brilliant box idea. So all you have to do is just join the Telegram chat. Today, I will post the link as the date of this video inside of that chat so that you can access this resource for free. Also, if you have any follow-up questions, the chat is a great place to ask me those questions as well. So I hope that you have enjoyed this content, guys. Don't forget to hit that share button and continue to follow along, and let me know in the comments if this content has been helpful for you. So be blessed, guys, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.